Okay, so today's project is to take my Dutch bucket grow. I'm going to thin this out massively. The one side is going to go strawberries. The other side is going to be an A, B, and C comparison that I can do on that side. And that way I can still run it as a normal grow and I can do all the tests and stuff that I want. So everything that you see behind me here, we already harvested what we wanted for the kale, made a bunch of soup and stuff out of it. So that's all going to get taken away. Those 3 sets of pails are all going to be strawberries. And this 3 is going to be an A, B, and a C roll for testing. So the project for today is to redo the plumbing because right now everything is connected and it's all on the same row. So I'll be disconnecting this side and moving that tote over here and kind of changing some of the stuff that I didn't like or that I think I could do better. And then this side will each have its own kind of feed and its own drain so I can keep the 3 rows isolated. Oh, and for those of you wondering if you can grow pineapple in Manitoba, yeah, you can. All right, so the first problem I'm already running into is these pumps. If you see them on Amazon, they might be reliable, don't buy them. Just for one simple reason. These fittings on the top, they provide you with 2 different couplers. I'll show you what those look like. But they don't fit onto anything. I can't fit them onto PEX. I can't fit them onto any kind of piping. They do fit on like a really large hose, but then I can't connect any drippers to it. So I've got to go from this somehow to either PEX or to the Rainbird 1/2-inch tubing. I went to the hardware store, couldn't find anything there. You might see the 3D printer is kind of ripping around in the background right now. So my attempt is going to be Fusion 360, see if I can design some kind of a slip coupler that'll go in there, and then a slip coupler that'll go in here. While I'm waiting for that print to finish up, I'm going to start and pull out all the plants in my grow room. Excuse the noise, the A-B test comparison pails just fired up. Anyway, as you can see, I did solve the tomato problem, and I can do better with those. It was just a matter of low EC, not enough nutrients. They were just starving. So they're all coming out, and now that that kale plant is gone, you can see the strawberries behind. They're doing really good. Surprisingly, there's a little bit of nutrient burn, and that's just because I bumped the EC up in the whole system to see if that was the case for the tomatoes. Something else that's kind of cool to see is look at how the bell peppers respond to a really high EC. They get all misshapen and kind of weird. These pails are all good. They're all cleaned out. All the organic mass is removed. Next up, I guess we're going to pull off all the irrigation rail, and the drain rail is going to come off. I will let it finish its irrigation. It's just happening to be running right now. And these plants could use the irrigation, especially this cucumber that I just yanked out of the other side and put over here. I don't know if I'll keep it, but it was there for a different reason. But anyway, in the meantime, I got to go check out on that 3D print, see if that's done, and see if that thing actually ends up fitting in that coupler. All right, so this thing did just finish printing. That's what I've got. Sorry, the lighting is horrible in here right now. All right, so that's what I've got. So my goal is to see if I can get that to fit in there tight. Oh, that's actually pretty good. And then this end, I want to be able to fit like so. Wow, that actually works right away. All right. This one's maybe a bit too tight. I don't know, I think I'll make it like 15 millimeters long or so. This other one can go all the way in there. I'm going to change that design inside of CAD, and we'll print that off and see if that's going to do the trick. Here's what this thing looks like inside of the slicing program. So we'll chuck that thing onto the bed, and maybe I get lucky and it works first try. Alrighty, here's where we're at. I printed off 2 of these puppies, and they both actually work lovely. Like, take a look at that fit. The autofocus is having no part of this game. And on the other end, and it gets more snug as you kind of push the 2 together. So I can't believe that worked the first try. Pretty awesome. Clearly God is working with me today. Okay, so as far as I've gotten in the grow room, I now have the Dutch buckets set back up. So what's changed kind of down here is I added another hole for my funnel in the front. I did change where the drain goes, so there's one little hole here. And the bigger concern is this one here, so I'll just print off a cap for that and close that one up, close that one up. No light leaks in here. And then the rest of this is exactly the way it was before. So up top, you can see that's all cleaned off. There's no irrigation up here. And I just have the drains on my Dutch buckets here. The buckets on the bottom, these are going to be my drains. So these will all stay independent on each line. So we'll get 3 pails in each, or 3 plants in each that we can grow and compare. So what's left here to do is I got to put a lid on here, put the pump in there, and kind of make the holes and set up the irrigation for it. The smart plug in the back, I don't know if you can see it, but that automation is already set up. That's going to be on the same exact timer as the Dutch bucket grow. So that's all set. So just the irrigation to set up for here. And I do need to make some kind of a lid. I want kind of like a bigger hole on the top of those pails, so that when I pop the lid off, that I could swivel the pail or remove the pail and not have to worry about disconnecting the pump and all that. So not 100% sure exactly how I'm going to do that yet, but I think it's just, if I put a lid on there with 2 holes, one for water going out, one for water going in, I think that's going to work. I'll end up printing something on a 3D printer for that. So then I just have to drill some big holes in my pail lids for here, because I do want it relatively easy to disassemble and clean it out in between different experiments, kind of thing. Now, I kind of debated whether or not I should take these things and kind of stick them into the soil, or stick them into the perlite a little bit to avoid the algae. This one, you can see there was just a tiny plant in here. There's a bit of an algae growth. So I could do that, but I don't want to change too many things at once, because then I'm going to end up losing track of what's working and what's not working. So I think for the time being, I'm going to stay with the irrigation dripping on top and then working its way down. Today is a fresh day, and I'm going to be finishing up that grow room today. I'm pretty pumped about that. The last pieces are printing on the 3D printer, and I don't have much left to do inside of my grow room. This is the piece that I'm printing right now, and this is kind of why I designed it this way. There's going to be 2 places of this pail coming out. This is the drain, and then there's going to be the fresh water for the irrigation, and there's also room there for the cord. But why I designed it like this instead of just putting 2 holes in the pail lid is so I can lift these things up, so I can rotate this, and then I can measure whatever I want for nutrients or mixed reservoir or whatever without having to disconnect or take this whole thing apart. I also did not glue this piece in there. Everything else is glued on the exterior of these pails. And this is just so I can take this out and clean it if I want to, or disassembly for whatever reason if I want to disinfect the pails. So today, what's on the schedule for today? I just have to actually stick the pumps inside of these pails The smart switch is already there, and put the irrigation on top. And the first A, B, and C comparison test is going to be underway. That's going to be hydrozyme, ponzy, and the middle now is just going to be my control. Okay, for those of you that are going to be wondering, why are two of them pecks coming out of the pails and why is one rainbird? This is why. Same style pump. This is just a lower volume, which I thought I ordered exactly the same ones, but I clicked on the order is the same as the past. Anyway, I got different pumps. And this one has a different fitting as well. This one with a hose clamp will hold the rainbird. Man, I wish I would have just gone with the Vivo Sun pump that you see in the background there. They come with different connectors. Way better pump. I've had those things running outside, and I leave them outside over winter, and we're going on like year number 3. Lesson learned for myself anyway. Well, we are all done. There's the finished pails. Pumps are all inside there, and up to the irrigation rails. And you can see the setup is good to go. Now, I did put 2 gallon per hour drippers on all of them, and that's just because I ran out of the 1 gallon per hour drippers. It's not going to make any difference. Anything that gets excess water just flows right back to the reservoir. But yeah, pretty stoked about that. The first test that's going to be popping into these pails is hydrozyme, ponzy, and then the middle is going to be the control. I'm going to get that test all ready, fire it up, and when that is completed, the video will be right over here.